So you know in that Bible verse that God says, if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. It is better to go to heaven with one eye than it is to go to hell with two eyes. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better to go to heaven with one hand than it is to go to hell with two hands. So I wanted to kind of take that verse and explain what God was talking about there. He was, he was talking about having self-control, right? Um, in this day and age, feelings and emotions, and people are having a lot of identity crisis. They're confused. They have questions. They have feelings, and I wanted to make a video on what these things are behind the scenes. A lot of these feelings come in the form of a spirit. We live in a very spiritual world, and I wanted to give a little bit of feedback to those people that are dealing with internal battles, that they don't want to feel these things that they are feeling, and then they're questioning themselves. So they're looking at themselves in the mirror, and they're thinking to themselves, man, I wish I didn't feel this way. Could it be that I'm this, or could it be that I'm that? So all of this is like spiritual. It's motivated by spirit. So I've lived a life myself that as a teenager, young adult, I was always doing every decision based on emotions, feelings, and impulses. And it always led me to dead ends, or trouble with the law, or regrets, shame, guilt, and condemnation, all that kind of stuff. And so I bumped my head long enough, as everybody that's a little older would tell you. You learn, when you bump your head, you get to a point where you self-reflect and you say, well, maybe it's not them, right? Because it's always them. It's never you. Maybe it's not them after you bump your head enough. Maybe it's me. I go everywhere, and I'm always finding myself in conflict with everybody around me. And it's these these things that people deal with until they bump their head long enough, they get fired from enough jobs, that they start to develop this conscience, or this idea that says, you know what, I have to, because what life will humble you, you know what I mean? And through this humbling experience, you grow into a mature person. So most of the people that are mature, they've been through a lot. They've done a lot of stupid stuff, and they learn from that stupid stuff. And now it's like you can't get them to do some stupid stuff that you're into. When you're young, all it takes is for somebody to start smiling, get all giddy, all hyped up, and invite you somewhere to do something. That's all it takes to get somebody young to do anything in life, even if it's the most foolish thing in the world. All it takes is this like motivation of this energy that says, yeah, we're gonna go wild out, yeah, it's gonna be epic, yeah, we're gonna, it's gonna be awesome. And then before you know it, whatever it is you're gonna do, that person is listening to you, watching you. If they don't have enough wisdom and understanding to understand, what I'm talking about here, they're gonna follow, because the pieces of the puzzle of life haven't come together for that person as of yet. And those missing pieces of the puzzle come through hardship, through suffering, through trial, through testings. And that's when those pieces of the puzzle say, nah, I ain't gonna go with you. Nah, it's not worth it to me. I don't care if you're smiling from ear to ear, selling me this idea. I'm not gonna go with you. And you're standing on your own convictions. You're standing on your own understanding that you're like, yeah, been down that road. I know. And so like, man, I really pity the generation, before me, because the youth and whatnot, because they're just being really manipulated, and they need help, they need guidance, they need direction, they need morals, they need all that stuff. Treat your parents, honor your parents, something as simple as that. They just need a good baseline to stand on it, so that so things can click for them, so that they can understand why you do it, right? And why you would honor your parents, just as a, since I brought it up, might as well go with it, is because one day you're gonna be old, and you're gonna need somebody to take care of you. And yeah, your youth right now is not gonna last forever. Right? I'm 36, and I remember when I was 6. That was 30 years ago, and it's gone by very fast. You've heard that a million times from different people, but it's so true. Life goes by really fast. The Bible says that life is like a vapor. Today, you see it, tomorrow it's gone. You know, so I just want to teach people and tell people, first of all, it's spiritual. What you're feeling, all these feelings and emotions and this and that, a lot of it is spiritual. And I just wanted to give you hope. And the hope that I want to give you is this, that you can be delivered from a lot of that stuff, okay? Like, for example, me, I used to deal with all these impulses, all these feelings erupting inside of me. Um, I consider myself a very masculine man, because I am. But I dealt with that spirit that is a feminine spirit. I dealt with that feminine spirit growing up, and I was insecure about myself, and I didn't understand it because I was a tough guy, and I was hard, and I was tough, and I was strong, and I didn't understand what's up with that. It's not until I learned spiritual warfare that I started to understand it's a spirit. It's not me. It's a spirit. And lo and behold, every time I casted the spirit out, every time I turned my attention towards that feeling and I started to vocalize my authority over it and telling it to leave, guess what would happen? The feeling of insecurity would leave me. And those spirits, they come in through television. If you watch pornography, let's say, you can get a spirit like that. Maybe it was sometimes they come in through somebody else that laid hands on you. Like I got a massage not too long ago. Um, like, it was just time. I was due for a massage, so I got a massage not too long ago, and the person that gave me a massage was a woman. And I just felt like afterwards I needed to pray, man. I felt like her energy, whatever you want to call it, she had infused her beliefs on me, right? And I was feeling a certain type of way after the massage was done, right? Sure, the kinks, I'm not talking about the kinks on my back and all of this. I'm not talking about the knots. I'm talking about spiritually, I felt a certain type of way. And I said, man, going in, I didn't feel this way. Coming out of the massage, I feel a certain type of way. And sure enough, guys, I prayed and things started to leave me. And it's that of which I wanted to convey to everybody that's listening. It's like, you have authority. You can pray for things to leave you, right? You don't have to play ball. And so back to the original verse in the Bible where God said, if your eye causes you to sin, cut it off, whatever, gouge it out or whatever. Like, basically, you don't have to listen to your members. You don't have to play ball. You don't have to participate. Or, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you can have a feeling, right? And you can cast out the feeling. You can make that feeling an enemy. You don't have to stand behind the feeling and say, well, I'm your slave, or I'm your prisoner, or whatever, right? I understand that in the world of psychology, they don't understand what I'm talking about. They don't understand that because it's spiritual. The spirit behind the feeling is real. For example, in the Bible, I'll prove it to you. The Bible said, Jesus said, I did not give you a spirit. Now notice this. I did not give you a spirit of fear. Now, what do you relate fear to? An emotion. But he said, I didn't give you a spirit of fear, but I gave you a spirit of power. Well, you would never think that spirit power is a spirit, right? A psychologist wouldn't think that. But I gave you a spirit of power, of love, and of peace, or a sound mind. And so each one of those members, you look at it and you say, man, you called it a spirit. Why'd you call it a spirit? You know, I thought that that was just an emotion or a feeling, you know, something that was already inside of me to begin with. So, yeah, trauma, you know, can induce these open wounds inside of a person where a spirit enters in through that trauma. If it's molestation, if it's child abuse, or if it's even bullying, all these things can trigger a spirit to come inside of that person. I've seen it zillions of times. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating with the zillions, but you get what I mean. I've seen it so many times where a spirit enters, and then that spirit entered in through, um, you know, an open door that the person felt wounded. So what happens? Now that person has a spirit of anger, where it started off it originated with them being molested or whatever it is, and now they're an angry person. But this is not just regular anger. This is anger like you know, on steroids. Like they want to, they you know, don't look at them sideways or they'll attack you. That's a spirit. And again, back to that, like God gave us the right to go and attack that thing. So you go up to the feeling, whatever it may be, and you just speak to it, and you just say, leave, leave, because it thinks that you want it there. It thinks that you want it there. They have personalities. So it's like until you renounce to it, you tell it, hey, get out of here, get out of here, you know. um it just feels like it's gonna make a home there. So if you don't want certain to feel a certain type of way, whatever you're dealing with in life, whatever you're dealing with, there's a manipulating spirit. I used to have a manipulating spirit. I used to have a lying spirit. I used to lie my way through life and manipulate my way through life, con my way through life, you know. And I thought it was me. I literally thought it was me. I thought I was so sly and so cool and so this, so that, until I got delivered. And some Christians started, they discerned the spirit and they called it out by its name. It manifested, the spirit manifested, and I'm like, I didn't know I had that, you know? I didn't know I had that. And then it got casted out. And then when it got casted out, the feeling of it, of wanting to do it and get on that bandwagon, just keep it going, the feeling left. I didn't want to manipulate no more when the spirit got casted out, right? And so that's why God says, go and sin no more. In other words, don't open the door back to that thing so it can come back in, because if you participate in its world view, then it's gonna think that you want it back. It's gonna be like, oh, you're my friend, I like you, you know, you like what I like, okay, I'm coming back in. You got to resist it. The Bible says, submit to God, resist the devil, he will flee. And so, you know, if you want to be a more than a conqueror, you got to play by more than a conqueror's rules. And what that means is that you have to shun the things that the devil is for. So, you know, I just wanted to give you hope. If you're struggling out there, if you're dealing with, say, suicidal thoughts, that's a spirit. If you're dealing with depression, that's a spirit. If you're dealing with anger, that could be a spirit. There is regular anger. Yeah, you could get angry. Like the Bible says, be angry but don't sin. You know? Like, there's things that can get you angry in everyday life, right? But, you know, you don't have to act on it in a sinful manner. So, you know, hopefully this video helps you. I'm out there to minister to the people that, you know, they feel alone, they feel left out, they feel like, you know, and just understand that, you know, there's a real you, and then there's other imposters. There's an imposters. There's sometimes a spirit on you that when you look at your hand or your arm or your leg, or and you look at yourself, you're thinking, or your face, you think to yourself, man, I don't like the way I look. There's something about the way it looks that I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't understand. It's just every time I look at myself, it's not my hand. It's not my leg. There's, and I'm telling you the truth, guys. I know a lot about this spiritual stuff, and I dealt with it myself. So there's a spirit on top of that place that you don't like. There's a reason why you don't like it. It's because it's not like, and it goes back to you being able to be delivered from it. You can just tell that thing that's on that part of your body that you say, I don't like that. Tell it to leave. It's that simple. It really is that simple. So command it to leave, and mean it. Be stern with it. You know, don't just be like. And the way you do it is you go up to the feeling of it, and you just boldly, because they want you to be scared of it. That's the whole game there for them. That they want you to feel scared to go up to the feeling. The feeling is them, the spirit. And so it's like, if you start walking up to it in the spirit, if you start going to the feeling, it'll run from you. They're scared of you. You have authority, and they know it, but you don't know it yet. But you should know it. So be more than a conqueror. God made you more than a conqueror. Renounce to your fears. Renounce to it all. It will leave. And keep at it. Sometimes they leave right away. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but they absolutely will leave if you stick with it. Absolutely, 100%. I'm telling you the truth. And you don't have to be a victim. You don't have to be a victim. That's the whole point of the cross. That's the whole point of Jesus. That's the whole point of Jesus dying on the cross, is that he took your place so that you can be more than a conqueror in his place. So you can be white as snow, so you can be clean and holy, so that you can be, a king and strong. So hopefully this video helps you. But don't go through life feeling like you have to put up with stuff that you don't want. If you think of yourself,
TV off right now.
if you think of yourself, if you look at yourself and you feel a certain type of way, and you're like, man, I wish I wasn't like that, most likely you can cast it out. I don't know if it's 10 out of 10 times, but I would say 8 or 9 times out of 10, I would say it's spiritual, and you can cast it out. So God bless you. I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know a lot of people deal with the same things. I want you to know that, there is help and hope, and there's a lot of testimonies out there. Look it up on YouTube. Just look it up. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there for you to do your research, and so that you can gather up more information, more intel, and help yourself. But don't give up. All right? God bless you.